ॐ दक्षिणास्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्णपाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। So now we are almost coming to the end of our 108 verses of Vivekachudamani. And now we have come to the portion or the place where Bhagwan Shankaracharya is talking about the nature of a Sthita Prajna. Who is a Sthita Prajna? Sthita Prajna is a person who is called as a Jivan Mukta, who is called as a Jnani, and this Jivan Mukta is a person who has internalized the teaching of the Shruti. What is the teaching of the Shruti? Mahavakya Vichara. What is Mahavakya? You, the Atma, you whose nature, whose real nature, whose reality is nothing but Atma, is in no way different from that Jagat Adhishtanam Brahma. Atma Brahma Abheda. Atma Brahma Aikyam is what is the ultimate teaching of the Shruti. So all the Upanishads are talking about this particular teaching where it is said that Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mitya, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Brahman is the only reality. Atma or Brahman is the only reality. The Jagat is Mithya, and this Brahman is nothing but my Swarupam. I, the Atma, is nothing other than this Brahman. Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Jiva, whose very nature is Atma, whose very nature is this consciousness, is the same as the Adhishtanam of the entire Jagat Brahman. We have to understand here very clearly, Atma is not Jiva. There is always a confusion. What is the difference between Jiva and Atma? Atma is not Jiva. Atma is that pure consciousness, Sakshi Chaitanya Atma. And when this Atma gets reflected in the buddhi of any Jiva, it forms a reflection called as the Chidabhasa. And this reflected consciousness or Chidabhasa, along with the buddhi and along with the body mind sense complex, develops an individuality about itself and thinks that it is an individual separate from everything else. This is what is called as Jiva. Chidabhasa Sahita body mind sense complex is the Jiva. So Atma is not Jiva. What is Atma? Atma is that consciousness whose reflection is Jiva. Atma is not the Jiva. This is something which every one of us have to very clearly understand. And a person who understands that this Atma, this very Swarupam of me is nothing but this Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Atma. This Atma is nothing but that same consciousness which is behind the entire universe. So that consciousness, which is the very adhishtanam of the entire universe, names and forms of entire universe, is the same consciousness that is behind this body mind sense complex. That is why Krishna said in the 13th chapter, Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. That consciousness behind every name and form, including this body, mind, name and form, is nothing but that consciousness. And that consciousness, Atma, and that consciousness, Brahman, are not different from each other. The consciousness with reference to me, the Tvam Padartha, the actual meaning of the Tvam Padartha is this Atma, which is not the Jiva, which is the very original. This Atma is nothing but that Brahman, which is the very Adhishtanam of this entire universe. This is the very teaching of all the Upanishads. This is the teaching of our Vedanta. And the one who has understood this, the one who has understood this very, very clearly, for whom this knowledge has become an assimilated knowledge, the person who is abiding in this knowledge spontaneously, such a person is called as a Jivan Mukta. Spontaneous knowledge means what? This knowledge has become such an assimilated knowledge that it is available spontaneously whenever one needs it. All the time, the background of this knowledge is there in whatever transaction the jnani is doing. Whatever the Jivan Mukta is doing, that background knowledge is all the time there, all the time, which is abiding in him, which says, I am not this body mind sense complex. I am not the one who is doing the transactions. It is the Anatma body mind sense complex, the so called Jiva, which is the Anatma, who is transacting with the world outside, which is also Anatma. And who am I? I am that consciousness. Who am I? I am that consciousness which is the Sakshi Chaitanya Atma. I am that consciousness which is the witness of this entire Anatma. And I, the very same consciousness, is the very Adhishtanam of everything in this Jagat. I am the consciousness in which the entire Jagat arises. Mayeva Sakalam Jatam. Mai Sarvam Pratishtitam. This entire universe of names and forms, along with this body, mind, sense complex, is actually abiding in me, the Atma Swarupa. Mai eva sakalam jatam, mai sarvam pratishtitam, mai sarvam layam yati. In me, this consciousness, the whole universe resolves. So I am that consciousness or Brahman in which the entire universe manifests, sustains, and then resolves back. And this Jagat includes my body, mind, sense complex also. So who am I? I'm not the Jiva body, mind, sense complex. I'm that consciousness which is the Adhishtanam of this entire universe. This is the knowledge which is so clear, which is available all the time with this jnani. This is the knowledge which is spontaneously available. What is the meaning of spontaneous availability? I don't have to keep on reminding myself, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. I don't have to keep on reminding myself. What I need is whenever I need this knowledge, it is available for me spontaneously. I don't have to look for it. I don't have to search for it. I don't have to remember it. It is all the time available as and when I need it. Example, my name is known to me. My phone number and address are known to me. I don't have to keep on reminding myself my name is so and so, my address is so and so, my phone number is so and so. But when it is necessary, when somebody asks me my phone number and address, it is spontaneously available to me. That knowledge which is there is all the time there. I may not remember it all the time. A jnani may not keep on saying, Am Brahmasmi, Am Brahmasmi, Am Brahmasmi. He need not do the nididhyasana. And Ajnani has to do the nididhyasana most of the time during the transaction, saying that I'm not this body, I'm not this jiva, I'm this witness consciousness. Iti, a mumukshu Ajnani has to keep on remembering it. That is what is called as nididhyasana. But a jnani does not have to remember it all the time. Why? Because this knowledge has become a spontaneous knowledge to him. That is why we saw in the previous verse, he saw that Yasya sthita bhavet prajna in the 427th verse. In the 427th verse, we saw that he says, Acharya Shankara says, Yasya sthita bhavet prajna. Okay, Yasya prajna sthita bhavet. Sthira bhavet. Sthita means that which is constantly available, firmly there, which we call as jnana nishtha. A Jivan Mukta is the one who has got nishtha in this knowledge. There is a nishtha or abiding. A nishtha means a strong presence of that knowledge, spontaneous presence of that knowledge, and constantly abiding in that knowledge. So he said, we saw that in the 427th verse, Yasya sthita bhavet prajna, Yasya anando nirantaraha, who's constantly happy and peaceful. He does not have to depend upon any other thing in the Jagat to give him happiness. That's why Krishna said in the verses 55 to 59, those 4-5 verses which describe the state of Sthita Prajna, Lord Krishna said, Atmanyeva Atmana Tushtaha. He does not need any object from outside, any human being in the world, or any situation in the Jagat to be contented, to be happy. He is always happy because that is his Swarupam. Purnatvam and Sukha is the very Swarupam of Atma. And since he is abiding in this Atma Swarupam, there is constantly that Nirantaram Yasya Anandaha Syat Prapancho Vismritaha Yasya. The world is as though forgotten. It does not mean that the world is forgotten. No, even a jnani very well sees the world as we ourselves also see. A jnani also transacts, the Jivan Mukta also transacts with the same world, the way we transact. But the world does not disturb him anymore. The world does not have the power to create any samsara for this Jivan Mukta. For us, the Jagat creates samsara, isn't it? Whenever something nice happens, we are elated. Whenever some anishta prapti is there, we are down. Whatever we want happens, we are very happy. Ishta praptau, I am extremely happy. Anishta praptau, I am completely gone. Sukha and Dukha keep on coming one after another, depending upon whether what happens is happening according to my like or not. So that is not the state with with a jnani, with the sthita prajna. A sthita prajna or jnani, in spite of the situations in the jagat, he is happy and contented because he knows that jagat is mithya. Jagat is constantly changing. There is nothing like what I want to happen in the Jagat that will not happen. The Jagat is going on according to its own laws. Ishvara is running this universe as an intelligent principle behind this universe with those inherent laws of the universe. Things are going to take place the way they have to take place. There is absolutely nothing that I can do about it. Getting affected by the changing universe is the feature of an ajnani, of people like us, who get affected by everything that happens in the universe, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. But a jnani is the one, prapanchaha vismritaha prayaha, as though the world does not exist. It does not mean it does not exist. It does exist, but it does not disturb him anymore. As though the world is as though existing for him. It is there. Nama matram, this world is there. For transaction matram, this world is there. This world has no other reality. Therefore, this world ceases to disturb the jnani. This prapancha includes what? The people, the objects, and the situations. So none of the people of the Jagat, the objects of the Jagat, nor the situations of the Jagat affect this particular person. Vismrita prayaha jivan mukta sa ishyate. Such a person is called as a jivan mukta. And the last verse which we saw, the 430th, we saw that vartamane api dehesmin छायावत अनुवर्तिनी Ahanta mamata abhavaha jivan muktasya lakshanam. Because the world does not tend to have any influence upon this person. Though the world exists for the jnani also, it doesn't influence him either in a positive way or negative way, because the jnani clearly understands that the jagat is mithya. And because of this, though he is in this body mind sense complex, the body mind sense complex also, being a part of the jagat, is like a shadow to him. Just like a shadow follows him, this body mind sense complex also follows. Just like us, we don't bother about the shadow. Sometimes the shadow may be on our left or right or front or back. We don't bother. The shadow follows us, we don't bother. We know that it's a shadow. Similarly, the body mind sense complex also is like a mere reflection or a mere shadow for a Jivan Mukta, and he does not really bother much about it. And last time we just started, last session, we started the 431st verse, where what is this jnani's idea or vision about the past and the future. See, he is in a timeless Atma. Atma is timeless. It is Nitya. It is Desha Kala Vastu Aparichinna. That means what? Atma is not afflicted by place or space or time. It is beyond time. Time exists in Atma. Time exists in me. Therefore, this person is aware that he is that timeless existence and consciousness, and therefore the past and the present have no meaning for him. So we saw in the last session 431st verse where he says अतीत अतीताननुसन्धानं भविष्यद् अविचारणम् औदासीन्यमपि प्राप्ते जीवन्मुक्तस्य लक्षणम्. So he is not worried about the past because past is over long back. I cannot get the past back. I cannot change whatever happened in the past. Anyway, all that happened in the past is a mere experiential reality. It is not the absolute reality. Therefore, this person does not regret or does not have any guilt or shame about the past. So there is no atita anusandhanam. Atita ananusandhanam means what? He does not think over what has gone off in the past. Bhavishyat avicharanam. Bhavishyat avicharanam means he is not also concerned about what is going to happen because it is Ishvara's will. This whole universe is a projection of Maya. It's a projection of Ishvara. And according to the laws of Ishvara, whatever has to come, whenever it has to manifest, it will manifest. It is not going to happen the way I want. It is not going to happen the way I don't want. It is going to happen exactly according to Ishvara Sankalpa. And therefore, Bhavishad Avicharanam. He does not think too much about the future. Whatever is necessary to be done for the immediate future, he will also do. He will also plan. If he has to travel, he will also book the tickets 1 month in advance. That is different. What we are talking is unnecessary anxiety about the future. That's what we do. We are all the time either regretting the past, we Ajnanis, we are regretting the past, or we are anxious about the future. Anxiety about the future or regret about the past, that's all we are doing. Whereas for a Jnani, there is neither any regret or guilt about the past, nor is there any undue anxiety or fear about the future. Oh, what to do if this happens? What to do if that happens? If this is not going to happen, what shall I do? These kind of thoughts are not there. When the time comes, according to Ishvara Sankalpa, according to the Prarabdha, whatever has to happen, this body mind sense complex will have to undergo. I am a mere Sakshi Chaitanya Atma. I don't have to worry about what is going to come in future. Let it come. When it comes, let us see. That is his attitude about the future. Audasinyamapi prapte. Whatever comes, he accepts it as Ishvara Prasada. Whatever he did as a karma yogi, now it has become his natural lakshana. It has become his swabhavika lakshana. Jivan muktasya lakshanas are these. He is happy. Prapte, aprapte. Whether he gets something, he doesn't get something, he takes everything as Ishvara Prasada. When something good happens, he's happy. It's not as if he's not happy. He's happy but grateful to Ishvara for whatever has happened. If things don't happen according to what is expected, he's not worried about that. He takes that also as Ishvara Prasada. So Audasinyam api prapte. Whatever comes, he has a kind of a healthy detachment. Udasina. Udasina means here, Audasinyam means what? He is healthily, a kind of a healthy detachment is there towards whatever comes, whatever is there. And such is what is called as the Jivan Muktasya Lakshanam. This healthy detachment is Jivan Muktasya Lakshanam. Then we'll go to the 432nd verse next. What does he say? What does Acharya Shankara say? गुणदोष विशिष्टेऽस्मिन् स्वभावेन विलक्षणे सर्वत्र समदर्शित्वं जीवन्मुक्तस्य लक्षणम्. Sarvatra Samadarshitvam, he says here, that a jnani or a Jivan Mukta will see everything as one and the same manifestation of the same Atma. There may be doshas, there may be good things, there may be good attributes, bad attributes. They are the attributes belonging to what? They are the attributes belonging to the Anatma Jagat, Anatma body, mind, sense complex. So, what does he say here? Guna dosha vishishte asmin. There may be guna, good qualities, doshas, negative qualities in the objects of the world, in the people of the world, in the situations that are happening outside us. There may be some gunas, there may be doshas also. But then these are taken as svabhavena vilakshane. He says he understands very clearly that the very characteristic of the Jagat, the very characteristic of the Anatma Jagat is guna and dosha. The guna and dosha are all the time there. Every particular object has its own attributes. There are positive attributes, negative attributes to every jiva, to every body mind sense complex, to every object in the world, in every situation. But this person, this Jivan Mukta, is not really worried about it. He does not take it as your guna or your dosha. He does not take it as the dosha of the Jagat. He accepts it as the Swabhavika Lakshanam. He accepts the polar opposites, gunas and doshas, in the Jagat as natural. He says that whenever there is anatma is there, in anatma, opposites are always there. There is only one thing where there are no polarities or pairs of opposites, that is atma. Atma is the one where there are no polar opposites, no polarities, no opposites, no guna dosha. Gunadosha Varjitam. Atma is Gunadosha Varjitam. A Jivan Mukta who is abiding in the Atma Swarupa also, his body, mind, sense complex may have gunas and doshas. He may have a healthy body. Another jnani may have a very unhealthy body. So that is a dosha and guna. One jnani may have a very healthy body, which is a guna of the body. Another jnani may have a body which has, which is full of diseases. So there is dosha. He may be in a situation, one jnani may be in a situation where everything is very conducive, guna. Whereas another jnani may be in a situation where there is nothing conducive, nothing conducive. He's in a very, very miserable situation, but he is not miserable. The situation around may be having doshas. The situation around him may be having gunas. The world around him may be having goodness and badness and good qualities, bad qualities, polar opposites, sukha, dukkha may be there in the jagat. But then he understands that these are the qualities, the polar opposites is something which is svabhavena vilakshane. Svabhavena vilakshane gunadoshe. There are vilakshana swabhavena, opposite pairs of opposites, gunas and doshas are present with respect to the objects of the world, with respect to the people around, with respect to his own body, mind, sense complex. But what is his idea there? What is his vision in the presence of these guna doshas? Sarvatra samadarshitvam jivan muktasya lakshanam. With regards to all these doshas, there is a vision of equanimity, there is equalness. He does not reject anything because there is dosha. He does not try to go after something because there is guna in it. He understands very clearly that the objects of the world, the people of the world, are endowed with acceptable qualities, with unacceptable qualities. The acceptable qualities are called as gunas, the unacceptable qualities are called as doshas, and they may be very distinct from each other and may be applied to the situations of the Jagat and to the world outside of objects and people. But then he is not really worried about the guna and doshas. Sarvatra samadarshanam. He does not really care for the polar opposites of gunas and doshas that are seen in the Jagat. He is unaffected by the gunas and doshas of whatever is surrounding him. So he has got Sarvatra Samadarshitvam. In the fifth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we saw that same one. What is that? Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Shvapakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. Whatever may be the type of person he comes across, there is samadarshitvam. Why? Because he sees the same Atma in himself and everybody else. That consciousness, the Kshetrajna, which is me, is that very consciousness which is behind every other jiva, behind every object, behind every situation. Therefore, the gunas and doshas belong to the anatma. They don't belong to the atma. Therefore, this person is not affected, not afflicted by the gunas and doshas of whatever he sees outside. For him, it is samadarshanam. He does not judge anybody. He does not make fun of anybody as a person with gunas or doshas. He accepts every object, every person, every situation with its inherent gunas, its inherent doshas, with samadarshitvam, a vision of equanimity. Everything is equal. Samaloshtasma kanchanaha, we saw that in the sixth chapter. Isn't it a jnani? When he has a clod of clay in his hand, or a stone or gold, does not mean he does not see the difference. He sees the difference, but still that difference does not make any difference to him. The gold that he touches is as true or as good or as mithya as the stone that he is touching. Therefore, the inherent gunas and doshas of any object in the world do not cause any kind of a disturbance in this jnani. He sees everything with samadarshanam. Jivan muktasya lakshanam. This is the lakshana of the Jivan mukta. Samadarshitvam. All of these that Bhagwan Shankara is telling here are what Bhagwan Krishna has discussed in Bhagavad Gita in various chapters. In the fourth chapter, he discusses, fifth chapter, sixth chapter, 12th chapter, 13th chapter. In almost 14 chapter, so many gunatita lakshanas, jnani's lakshanas are there. So, in every chapter of Bhagavad Gita, a sthita prajna or a jivan mukta lakshanas are given. And if you just open Bhagavad Gita, every chapter, somewhere or the other, we'll find that Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam. In the 12th chapter, Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam, Maitra Karuna Yevacha. Same thing. He does not hate something because it has got dosha. First of all, he doesn't see it as a dosha. He just sees it as a part of the anatma. He does not consider anything as guna or dosha. Therefore, he has no hatred towards a dosha or undue attachment towards anything which is a guna yukta object. Next, in the 433rd verse, we will see the 433rd verse, 433. इष्टानिष्टार्थसम्प्राप्तौ समदर्शितयात्मनि उभयत्राविकारित्वं जीवन्मुक्तस्य लक्षणम्. Similar thing, ishta anishta praptau. In life, nothing ever happens that we want all the time. I want something, but every time it may not happen. If I'm lucky and if Ishvara's grace is there, occasionally, once in a way, what I want, what I need may happen. Most of the time, what I don't want itself happens. I cannot avoid something because I don't want it. I cannot go after something because I want it. So, what here it is said is that Ishta Prapti and Anishta Prapti is all the time there. It is all the time Ishta Anishta Prapti, means what I want and what I don't want. In the first place, a Jivan Mukta does not have such preferences or such ideas. I want this, this should happen, this should happen, this should not happen. Such kind of preferences he does not have at all. So, others may feel, oh, this Jnani has got so much of suffering, he's got so much of trouble, so much of Anishta is happening to this Jnani. But a Jnani does not feel that it is Anishta. For a Jnani, there is no Ishta Anishta Prapti. Whatever comes is Ishvara Prasada. Whatever comes is Ishvara Sankalpa. Other people may think like that, looking at a Jnani, chap, so sad. This person is a Jnani and he is a Brahmavid, he's a Satpurusha, but look at him, how much he's suffering. That is what people around him, Ajnanis, may say. But per se, for a Jnani, there is no Ishta Anishta Samprapti. So whatever comes to him, Samadarshitaya Atmani, he always takes whatever comes as Samadarshitvam. He does not label anything as good or bad. Whatever comes, fine. It is an experience. Everything is an experiential reality for him. So, see, it is like saying, I had a very good dream, I had a bad dream. What does it matter? It is a dream anyway. I might have had a very good dream, but in what way is it helpful to me when I wake up? It is not helpful to me in any way. I might have had a very bad dream. In what way does it affect me when I wake up? Anyway, it was an experiential reality. It was a dream. It was a mere experiential reality. It was not the truth at all. Therefore, whether it is Ishta or Anishta in the dream, it does not affect me. Even an Ajnani is not affected by a good dream or a bad dream when he wakes up. In the dream, he may be affected, but when he wakes up from the dream, he is not affected positively by a good dream, negatively by a bad dream. But here also, for a Jivan Mukta, even the waking world is a dream. It is a waking dream. It is a big dream. And the entire universe is nothing but the dream world. He has woken up to a higher reality. He has woken up to the Paramarthika Satyam Atma. Therefore, this Vyavaharika Satyam Jagat is also almost equivalent to a dream. Therefore, whatever comes to him, others may say it is Ishta, Anishta. Ishta means what I want. Anishta means what I don't want. Ishta means what gives me Sukha. Anishta means what gives me Dukha. The Jnani knows that Sukha and Dukha are for the body, mind, sense complex. Sukha and Dukha are not for me, the Atma. They are for the body, mind, sense complex. Therefore, Ishta Anishta Sampraptau Samadarshitaya Atmani. Samadarshanam. It doesn't matter. He never calls it, oh, this should not have happened, this happened. Nothing at all. He's grateful to whatever happens, grateful to whatever does not happen. That kind of a grace of Ishvara, he is open to that grace of Ishvara. Ubhayatra avikaritvam, to both situations, to the polar opposites. He abjaya ajaya labha alabho. Krishna says in the second chapter. So he is not affected by jaya, ajaya, labha, nashta, mana, apamana. He is not affected by that because for him there is nothing called as ishta and anishta prapti. So ubhayatra avikaritvam jivan muktasya lakshanam. There is avikaritvam. There is absolutely no change in his attitude towards the world. Whether it is a happy situation or whether it is an unhappy situation, it is not going to affect him in any way. Next verse, we'll go to 439th verse. So he says, Sadhubihi pujamanyesmin पीड्यमानेऽपि दुर्जनैः समभावो भवेद्यस्य सजीवन्मुक्त इष्यते. So he says that he may be worshipped by good people. Sadhu bihi pujyamane. Good people who have understood that this is a jnani, people who have understood the importance of this person, people in the world who have realized that this person is a boon to them, this person is a person who has some knowledge, who can really help the others around him, such people may actually worship him. So, sadhu bihi pujyamanepi. So, people who understand this jnani may worship him, they may do puja for him. At the same time, pīdyamane api durjanaihi. Durjanaihi pīdyamanepi. So some of the people who do not understand this jnani, they may consider himself to be a, an ignorant person, an innocent person, a person who does not know anything. They may cheat him. At the same time, Pidiyamane means they may torture him in many ways. There are many jnanis who are absolutely not affected. They are mistaken to be very weak and helpless and troubled by people. We have heard of instances, where a jnani is sitting in meditation and people have thrown stones at them. Children have thrown stones at them. We have those incidents in our own Santa Parampara. We have that a person sitting in Samadhi, a person sitting without, absolutely not aware of what's happening. He's sitting in meditation and people going around have mistaken him to be a mad person. Many of these jnanis are mistaken to be mentally unsound by people around, and they may be troubled, they may be scolded, they may be beaten, they may be tortured in many ways, they may be made fun of because those people do not understand what this person is, what is actually the nature of this person, what this person has understood, in what way this person is important. That a person who doesn't understand, people who don't understand, may even trouble him or torture him. So, Pidiyamane api durjanaihi. Durjanaihi Pidiyamane. Pidiyamane means troubled or tortured or given trouble by Durjanaihi. People who do not understand what this person is. Samabhavo bhavedyasya sa jivan mukta ishyate. Samabhavaha bhavet. Towards his perpetrators also, he is not affected, he does not curse them, he does not hate them. There is no raga dvesha in this person. So there is no dvesha towards anybody who's troubling him. There is no attachment or raga towards anybody who praises him or who does puja for him. So samabhavo bhavedyasya sa jivan mukta ishyate. Whether a person is troubling him or whether a person is worshipping him, this person is not worried because he knows that a praise also comes from the body mind sense complex for this body mind sense complex. The trouble also comes from some other body mind sense complex to this body mind sense complex. Therefore, both the body mind sense complexes are mithya, and whatever vyavahara is taking place, whether it is pida or whether it is pujanam, both of them are mithya vyavaharas. Therefore, there is samadarshitvam here also. He does not try to avenge, he does not try to take revenge against people who are trying to harm him. There are many jnanis who have been poisoned, those who have been given all kinds of things as food. So many things we see in the stories of our Santa Parampara. It has happened and it does happen. And such a situation also, the jnani is not affected by whatever happens to him. Now we'll go to the next verse, that is 441st verse, 441. Again, Jivan Muktasya Lakshanam. He says, Vijnata Brahma Tattvasya Yatha Purvam Na Samsritihi Asti Chenna Sa Vijnata Brahma bhavo bahirmukha. So he says, Vijnata Brahma Tattvasya. For a person who has understood the Brahma Tattvam, it is another name for a Jivan Mukta. It is another name for a Jnani. A Jivan Mukta is the one who has understood the Brahma Tattvam. Atma Tattvam, that this Brahma Tattvam is one Tattvam, it is one Satyam, it is one reality behind all the names and forms, the Tattvam of this entire universe, the Tattvam of this body, mind, sense complex is nothing but this Atma Brahman. Iti, the person who has understood, such a person is called as Vijnata Brahma Tattva. Vidyata Brahma Tattvaha, the one who has understood the Brahma Tattvam. What is it that is the central teaching of this Upanishads? That is this Brahman, which is the central Tattvam, the very stuff with which this entire universe is made, the very stuff with which this entire body, mind, sense complex or the collection of jivas are made. This is nothing but this Brahma Tattvam iti. He understands that whatever is there is only this Satyam Brahma. This Brahma Tattvam is so clearly understood by this Jnani. For such a person, Yatha Purvam na samsritihi. He is not afflicted by samsara anymore. And it is said that a Jivan Mukta also becomes a Videha Mukta. He gets Videha Mukti. That means what? He does not come back again. Because the Karana Shariram, which brings the Sukshma Shariram and Sthula Shariram back into repeated births, that particular Karana Shariram is destroyed by this Jnanam. What is Karana Shariram? Ajnanam, Avidya. This Ajnanam and Avidya is destroyed by this knowledge. And when it is destroyed by this knowledge, there is no material left, no bijam left, no seed left for this body and mind sense complex to come back again in another form. Therefore, there is no samsara for him. Living here also, here and now also, there is no samsara for him. That means what? He is not affected or afflicted by the life of becoming something, doing something, coming back again. There is nothing like that. This person is free from samsara here and now, and this person is free from samsara of coming back again and again into the cycles of birth and death. Therefore, it said, na samsritihi. Samsriti can be taken. Samsriti means repeatedly coming back, samsara, back into samsara. Samsarati iti samsara. That which keeps repeating, coming back again and again is called as samsara. And samsara can occur in two forms. While living here and now itself, I may be afflicted by the samsara. I may come back after I die also. When the Stula Sharira dies, the Sukshma Sharira waits for another body, embodies itself into another body, comes back because so many Sanchita karmas are waiting. We'll see that also in future. What are the karmas for a jnani? In that section, we'll deal with what are the karmas, what is prarabdha karma, what is Sanchita karma, what is agami karma. We'll deal with that karma and karma phala in detail when we come to that section. So here, there is no samsriti. All the Sanchita karmas are burned. Jnanagni dagda karmani. The Jnana Agni, the Brahma Tattvam, this Jnanam, completely burns off all the Sanchita karmas of the Jnani, because of which there is no question of the Jnani coming back. Jnani means this Jivan Mukta, coming back again and again into the cycles of birth and death. So he doesn't come back again and death. No more cycles of birth and death for him. He is the very Atma Swarupa. Therefore, Ajam and Ajaha Nityaha Shashvata Purana Atma he himself is. There is no question of samsara. Now also, while living also, there is no samsara. There is no question of coming back in another body, mind, sense complex after the death of this body also. Asti chet na vijnata brahma bhavaha. If this person who is called as a jnani is afflicted by samsara, here and now, or he comes back again and again, then such a person is not a jnani. If there is samsara for a person, he is not a jnani. That is what it is. If I am afflicted by samsara here and now, that means I am not a jnani. If I am here today, that means I have come millions of lives. I have embodied myself in different bodies and come again and again. That means I am not a jnani yet. Correct? If I am going to be a jnani, if I am a jnani in this life, what is the meaning of jnani? Understanding that I am that Atma Swarupa, that Brahma Tattvam, which is the very Tattvam, which is the very stuff of this whole universe, that Sat Brahma Aham Asmi, it is this knowledge, and understanding clearly that the entire universe, including my body mind sense complex, is mere mithya. Abidance in this knowledge frees me from samsara. If I am not freed from samsara, if the samsara is there for me still, it means that I am not a Brahma Tattva Jnani. Asti chet means what? Samsriti asti chet na vijnata Brahma bhavaha. If samsriti or samsara is there, then such a person is not a Brahmavid. Such a person is not a Jnani. He is not a Jivan Mukta, but he is a Bahir Mukha. He is still considering the world to be Satyam. What is Bahir Mukhatvam? When I consider the world to be Satyam, and when I live a life of becoming, I want this, I want that, I want to become this, I want to become that, this life of becoming and considering the world to be Satyam and not knowing my real nature is Bahirmukhatvam. What is Antarmukhatvam? Antarmukhatvam is that I have realized that the whole world is nothing but a package, nothing else. It is a loose, empty package, nothing is there. And who am I? I am that Brahma Tattvam. For such a person, there is no samsriti, there is no samsara. But by chance, there is a samsara, it means that I am not a Brahmavid. So I can decide for myself who I am. Whether I am a Brahmavid, that is, I am a Jivan Mukta or not, I can understand. If I am a Samsari, I am not a Jivan Mukta. I am afflicted by Sukhas and Dukkhas, I am not a Jivan Mukta. If I am thinking of Ishta Prapti and Anishta Prapti, I am not a Jivan Mukta. So if samsara is there, such a person is a Bahir Mukha. He is not a Jnani. He is not a Jivan Mukta. Then we'll go to the 446th verse. Okay, that is again Lakshana of Jivan Mukta. Aham Brahmeti Vijnanat Kalpakoti Shatarjitam Sanchitam Vilayam Yati Prabodhat Swapna Karmavat. So he says here that this person, for this Jivan Mukta, Aham Brahmeti Vijnana, by this knowledge of Aham Brahmasmi, Kalpa Koti Shata Arjitam Sanchita Vilayam Yati. Crores and crores of janmas that I have accumulated, all this karma phala, which is called as the Sanchita karma, this entire mute, which I'm carrying, the burden of this Sanchita karma of millions and millions of Shata Kalpa Koti. Shata Koti Kalpa, 100,000s of kalpas. That means because this Srishti is endless. Millions of kalpas have happened. In this timelessness, millions of kalpas have come. Millions of universes have come and gone. And if I am here today, I have come that many number of times because I have got this Sanchita karma, the accumulated karma, which I have not been able to work out in my living time. Those 40 years or 50 years or 70 years that I live, I may not be able to, work out all my karmas. They all get accumulated. They all go into my balance. There is an opening balance, there is a closing balance. When this life is closed, there is a balance which is still pending. Not only of this life, previous life, previous lives, and previous lives and all those unworked out karmas are lying in my account, which is called as the Sanchita karmas. But our scriptures say that this knowledge, Aham Brahmasmi iti, very, very clear knowledge and nishtha, this Jnana Agnihi, it sarvani karmani bhasmasat kurute. All the Sanchita karmas are just burnt away by this one spark of knowledge. Sorry, by this one spark of knowledge, millions and millions of karma phalas accumulated over millions and millions of lives are completely burnt away. So, aham brahmeti vijnanat, by this aham brahmasmi iti knowledge, by this knowledge, kalpa koti shata arjitam sanchitam, all the sanchita karma that has been accumulated, vilayam yati. Sanchita karma, we have to go back to Tattva Bodha. Of course, next session, when I talk about the karma of a jnani, I will deal in detail with what are the types of three types of karmas, what is the meaning of Sanchita karma, all that we'll be dealing with. So, Sanchita karma vilayam yati prabodha. Prabodhat vilayam yati. This knowledge itself burns away all the accumulated, unworked out karmas of this person. So the jnani is free from all the sanchita karmas. What happens to his prarabdha karma? That is what we'll discuss. In the next few sessions, that's what we will discuss. Then he says, Swapna karmavat. It is burnt like swapna karma. See, I would have done so many actions in my dream, correct? When I wake up, what happens to all those karmas and karma phalas? I have won a lottery in my dream. When I wake up, what happens to that winning of the lottery? Is the money available for me? It is not available. All the karmas done, I might have done so many wrong things also in the dream. But then when I wake up, all those karmas have disappeared. All the karmas that I dreamt of in the dream, there is no phala for the karmas dreamt in the dream. When I wake up, all the karmas that I have done in the dream are gone, they have disappeared. Similarly, he says here, when one wakes up to the reality of the self with this knowledge wakes up a person from the dream of Ajnana to one's own Paramarthika Satyam, to one's reality, Aham Brahmasmi iti. When you are woken up by this knowledge to your real Swarupam, to your reality, then what happens? All the karmas standing in my account, all the karmas pending in my account, all those karmas completely get burnt off or cleared off like swapna karmas. When I wake up from swapna, how all the dream karmas get just disappear. They don't have to be destroyed. They just disappear by my just waking up. So, what is this bodha here? What is this knowledge? A jnani has woken up to his higher self. A jnani has woken up to his reality. A jnani has woken up to his real self. So when he has woken up to his real self, all the karmas done in the Vyavaharika Prapancha for millions of lives together are like the karmas done in a dream, and all of them just totally disappear. So he says that, so these karmas do not stand for him at all. We'll just introduce the next verse, 447th verse. Now we'll take up the 447th verse. Yatkritam swapna velayam punyam va papamulbanam suptothitasya kim tatsyat swargaya narakaya va. Whatever I explained in the last verse, the same thing is being explained here. Yat kritam swapna velayam. During dream, whatever is done, whatever activities or actions are done, punyam va papam ulbanam. Punyam va papam ulbanam. Terrible papas, ulbanam means terrible. Terrible papas might be done by me, the dream person, dream me in my dream. or I may do very, very good things in the dream also. But then, will the punya karma done in the dream get me heaven? Will I go to heaven because I have done punya karma? Or will I go to the lower lokas or to the hell because I have done papa karma in the dream? No, it doesn't happen. When I wake up, there is no karma done in the dream, no karma phala for what is done in the dream. And as a waker, I don't go anywhere. I don't go to Swarga or Naraka or anywhere. So, Supta Uthitasya, once a person has got up from his dream, Kim Tatsyat Swargaya Narakaya va? Is there going to be any Swarga because of my karma, good karma done in the dream? No. Am I going to experience any naraka because I have done some very terrible papa karmas in the dream? No. All that is there when I am dreaming. But when I have got up, uthitasya, supta uthitasya, suptothitasya means a person who has woken up from the dream. Whatever actions that were done in the dream are absolutely not going to affect this person in this woken up state. Similarly, a jnani has woken up to the highest truth. He has woken up to the highest truth, and therefore, whatever karmas he has done here in this world also are as good as the karmas done in Swapna. So, Swapna Velayam Yat Kritam Punyam Va Papam. So here also a jnani in his previous lives or this life also before jnanam might have done terrible papas or lot of punya karmas, but they are as good as what were done in the dream state. When the jnani has woken up to his higher self, to the highest truth, to the highest reality of Atma Satyam, whatever actions were done in this Vyavaharika Prapancha are as good or as bad as whatever were done in the dream state, and therefore they don't give rise to any phalam. Now we have another two or three verses, which are two verses only, which are talking about the Sthita Prajna Lakshanas, and then we will be going to what happens to the Prarabdha. Does the Jnani really have a Prarabdha? What about his karmas? What are the Sanchita karmas of a Jnani? What happens to them? We have already seen. What happens to the Prarabdha karma? What happens to the Agami karma of a person, of the Jnani? That is what is going to come next after two more verses. So with this we'll stop today. नन्दन्तु साधका सर्वे विनश्यन्तु विदूषकाः अवस्था शाम्भवी मेस्तु प्रसन्नोऽस्तु गुरुः सदा सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ तत्सत्